Hello and welcome to TNA Top 10 episode, I think 104. I don't know if I increased it or not. I think it's 104. We'll go with that. May 18th, 2025. With me as always is Allison Faye. How you doing, Allison Faye?
I am pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I realize I did not say I'm T-Weave, so I got to make sure I throw that in there. Didn't know what the episode number was. At least I'm
It's all good.
about
Hashtag
80% not knowing all the info.
hashtag blame Terry is still trending.
Still,
It is. Might as well do it. I'm going to throw a blame Chat GPT in there once in a
Oh,
while, but just bring it to me and I'll tell you who to blame. But anyway, you heard the voice of Andrew. Welcome, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm good, but some shit's about to happen. Hold on just a second here. We got the Mets game on.
I'm sorry.
The
What game
Mets,
do you have
man.
on?
Getting beaten down.
What
by the
game?
Yankees. God's
Yeah.
The Mets game.
Do you
Don't
notice
yell at
both
me.
of us caught that? We were like, no. It is
Don't
the
yell at me.
Yankees game. In
That's
which the Mets
right.
have
He's
to-
arguing balls and strikes. This is great. Boom. Oh, no.
So we got a
That
lot
ain't
to
no-
get to this week because,
That ain't-
we got our top 10 list. Inspired by last week's TV Mothers list, we've got the top 10 Moira Rose quotes. And I struggle saying her first name every time.
It's
Moira.
not just from last week. It's also, Andrew and I kind of bullying you a little, saying we need to do this.
I am
a little bit of that came out on social media this week too. Yeah.
I am bedeviled with appointments.
So we also have two big events in wrestling coming up next weekend.
Mhm.
So we're going to go through those. Saturday night's main event and Double or Nothing, both coming up next weekend.
And if you all hear some random shouting, just keep
Yes.
listening and mind your business because the Yankees are on the big screen. They're up 2-1. They just put the stupid Mets out. Top of the bottom of the third coming up. So
Andrew's already upset because Freed has too many pitches.
55 is
Yeah.
way too many through three.
It's the
55
third
is way too many through three.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, it's not even through three. It's through 2.5. But whatever.
2.5.
It's way too many. And the Mets have already made it through the batting order once, and then he just struck out the heart of their order. So it's good. It's good to be a Yankees fan these days, but we'll talk more about that in a minute, I believe.
Yeah, we got a whole segment on it. Yeah. I think coming up pretty soon. I don't know. Maybe we just dive right into that. Is that our first
Let's go
thing?
into it.
Is the producer pissed about anything?
I'm not pissed this week. I got
It's been a good week.
strength
Impossible.
yesterday. No, I was so busy at work that I didn't have time to get pissed about anything.
That's usually when I get pissed. Is when
Well,
I
I've told you guys I made this mistake of becoming important at work.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like I don't even know what to say. It's like the floodgates have opened and everybody now realizes I can help them, and my calendar looks like something that would just drive an unorganized person insane.
So you're bedeviled with appointments.
Correct. Yes, I am.
My problem is I think the people that I don't necessarily feel like I want to help want to schedule meetings with me. Nothing against them, but there's particular groups that I think need to seek my help and they think they know everything.
Correct.
And then other groups that are not critical to getting the job done, they want meetings and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad to do it, but those other people need some info too.
I have been really good at employing Andrew's philosophy lately, which is this meeting could be an email. So let's take care of it now instead of waiting 4 days and wasting an hour.
Well, my meetings are, I've got a giant TV in front of me and I'm showing things that I can't send them through email. So
Okay.
This umpire, not to interrupt your email chat, but this umpire is going to be on Umpire Auditor on Instagram this week. It's a great follow. He has a very wide strike zone, and Grisham just got punched out on an obvious ball, but it's okay. Judges.
I'm
we're
going to
already talking. Go ahead.
Yes. Let's go. I was going to say I'm going to give my producer's piss to Andrew because yeah,
he's going to be pissed at the Yankees in a minute.
He's going to be pissed a lot. So
why don't we spread the love a little? we'll talk about Major League Baseball. You like my little logo I put together here, Allison?
Love
Got
this.
and the Braves logo squeezed it.
Colors.
But see, he did it right because he put the Braves over in the bottom right where the red has the pop and the
Mhm.
blue and white have the pop. So this
I
is
am
correct,
impressed.
Terry. This is very well done.
Trying to
Terry
not
handles
have
all-
85 slides because we have 2 wrestling shows worth of information to go through.
Terry handles all this stuff because, quite
Yes.
frankly, Terry handles all this stuff. I don't. I
Correct.
just show up when he tells me to. He sent the link at like 9:00 this morning, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's early."
Well, the only reason I sent it so early is because I was going to copy and paste the link to YouTube, but I accidentally copied and pasted the StreamYard link. And I'm like,
Oh.
wait a minute. That's what I'm supposed to email. So let me go ahead and email it. So I just got a little ahead of the game.
Too funny.
Sometimes I even forget that. You have to remind me, but not today.
Not today, folks.
So here's some big MLB news. Rob Manfred reinstated 17 dead players, including Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, along with all of the 8 men out, and some other names that we have listed here. I won't ramble through all of them. We were just looking at them before the show started. There's a guy named Cozy Dolan. I'm gonna have to figure out what he did. That's a cool name. I like that. We got a lefty, a buck, a Swede, Chick, Happy.
I mean, what happened to the names? Like, because that was a long time ago that people were named that.
We also had a guy named Whitey back then, and I don't know that we'd go with that.
I want to say Chick was the catcher. Because
I don't know. I think he was in the movie.
Chick was in the movie, and I think he was the catcher because he's the one who went to Comiskey, and when Comiskey didn't get the World Series, and he didn't give him the bonus because 24 games was not 25 or whatever it was. He said to Eddie, whatever his name is, Eddie. Yep, that one. The main character of the movie. But yeah, 8 men out. They're guilty as fuck. Okay, guilty as fuck. Pete Rose, on the other hand, this is where I'm gonna get amped up. The greatest hitter of modern baseball history, the guy that ran and stole bases, that beat DiMaggio's record, and you're going to say he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. And like you did with Mongo in the NFL, now you wait till he's dead. I guess Mongo technically wasn't dead. He died like 90 days later. But unacceptable. 100% unacceptable by Major League Baseball. This is a business that is $1 billion business that allows Shohei Ohtani to have a 700. Was the first baseman, Chick Gandil. Perfect.
Keep talking. I was showing it without interrupting you.
I thought it was the catcher. But anyway, this is a $1 billion business that has allowed Shohei Ohtani to defer a contract for however long. He's getting paid $1 million this year and has $100 million in endorsements. So the money, anytime you get money involved in things, that's when all of a sudden it becomes selective as to what are we going to prosecute and what are we not going to prosecute.
Let's not also forget he was also embroiled in a money laundering, gambling, whatever, right?
True.
Scheme happening. Yet nobody thought about doing anything to Ohtani.
So because Ohtani's translator took all the heat.
So. Right, but to Andrew's point, what would that money have had to do with baseball? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
my deal, and my approach on the Hall of Fame, I don't care what they did. If they were a big part of any era of baseball, put them in. And I even get a little bit. I know baseball is a game of numbers. So-and-so, is so-and-so going to get in? Oh, he only had 294 home runs. Like, come on. Quit getting so wrapped up in that kind of thing. Were they a big part of baseball? I really don't care what all this other crap is. If they did something wrong, whatever. Big deal. They were a big part of an era of baseball. Put them in.
Yeah. My argument back to you for the Black Sox specifically, the White Sox, the 1919 White Sox, would be, are any of them worthy because their only fame is the fact they got caught throwing the World Series?
Well, and that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
you got to look at what they actually did on the field before that.
I mean, Joe Jackson, I think, is probably the leading candidate out of that
Right.
group.
Yeah.
You know,
And I don't expect them all to. I mean, I expect the Black Sox scandal to be represented at the Hall of Fame as a whole, but I don't think. I think Shoeless Joe Jackson. I don't even know his numbers, but I think
See,
he would be the guy.
and I'll be honest, I think, like you were saying, Terry, that's a really relevant part of baseball history. So you would put that in.
I would
The
not
whole-
put it in.
I would. The whole Black Sox scandal?
I would
I
not
would.
put it in. No.
No, I just think as far as
But it
somebody
is
pointed this
relevant.
out on another podcast last night. They were talking wrestling and they were comparing it to baseball. I would put something in, and it may be there already, in the actual Hall of Fame location.
Oh, now
An
that
exhibit.
yeah.
But as far as
Yeah.
names go and being Hall
Yeah.
of Famers, that you got to earn on the field. And Joe
That's
Jackson,
what I meant. Yeah.
he, is there not a batting average here? You mean I'm going to have to calculate this?
They may not have had. Yeah, I was going to say they may not have calculated batting average
Stupid
back
Google.
in 1919 for you.
All right.
But what series-
1,772 divided by 4981. If somebody wants to do that for me real quick. Anyway.
It's 4 something. It's around 400.
Yeah, it's 3 something.
Anyway.
It's high threes. What was the numbers, Terry?
Okay, so it will be 1,772
Okay.
divided by 4,981.
Oh, okay, yeah.
355 rounding up to 356 batting average.
That's Shoeless Joe Jackson's career
That's
batting
pretty
average,
good.
along with his 54 home runs in 13 seasons.
Yeah, so he wasn't a hitter. Okay, so this is the other thing. Speaking of hitters, I also think the big three, and yes, we're talking about their bloated ass heads: Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, all belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Not because they were steroid users or PED users, but Barry Bonds still had to be able to see the ball to hit it, and he still had, other than Ken Griffey Jr., probably the best swing in baseball ever.
Yeah.
McGwire was just power all the way
Yeah.
through, and the same with Sosa. It was very clear Sosa was on the gas. Very, very clear. And baseball, here's the thing about baseball, though, folks. They let them play, and you knew they were on the gas. The three of us could watch the baseball game and know Sammy Sosa's on steroids.
It
But
made
baseball
for
in
great
19
baseball.
But baseball in 1998, following the lockout and the strike of 94 or whatever,
They needed
Yep.
Terry will tell you the Atlanta Braves should have had 2 World Series, not 1.
let me hold up. The biggest thing that came from that, the year they went on strike, the Expos had a big lead when they went on strike, and that ended that whole thing.
Yep.
And people stopped going to the games in Montreal, and they had a big lead, and they had a roster at that point.
Yeah, because who's the Expos now?
The Nationals.
The Nationals, that's right. The Washington Nationals. But anyway, bottom line is, you can't teach, and I said that in that group thing we were on last night with Palmwater Dave. You can't teach the Barry Bonds swing. You certainly can't teach his eye. And I will say this, because everyone listens to this show knows I love Aaron Judge. Barry Bonds, still the greatest hitter in baseball, and here's why. It isn't the 755 home runs or wherever he finished. It isn't all the hits. It isn't the intentional walks. Well, it is the intentional walks.
Mhm.
Barry Bonds, in a 3-game series, might get pitched at one time. He's going to have one chance to hit the ball. The Judge does not have that intimidation factor. They're going to pitch to Judge. And when you pitch to Judge, he's going to hit, which is why his batting average right now is over 400. Also have something about that in a second. But Barry Bonds, most feared hitter in baseball at the end of his career. And it won't close.
Yep.
And the fact that he was on the juice just made sure he was going to hit it all the way out of the park. Yeah, 762. So he didn't beat Aaron and Karen by much because Aaron had
755 was Aaron.
755.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has Aaron beat by 7 home runs. And of course, Babe had 714. And I believe it's Griffey or A-Rod that's 696, the next one on the list. So
Right.
But Griffey did it without the juice either.
Right. So 4 guys have hit 700. So they've got Bonds at 762, Aaron at 755, Babe Ruth was 714, and Albert Pujols at 703.
Okay,
And
I
then
missed
Alex
Pujols.
Rodriguez is at 696. But
I always forget Pujols because he gets
Always.
stuck on the St. Louis Cardinals, and like he would be a dangerous
and then
hitter.
the Angels. I mean,
But the team won't worth the shit.
right.
God.
But even the Cardinals did go to World Series.
Yeah,
But-
they did.
But
They
then they were so, I don't know. I'm not going to say boring, but they weren't flashy.
No.
Although
you
they
didn't
had
have-
the best catcher in baseball for sure, no doubt. That guy was phenomenal.
Which team?
The Cardinals.
Who is the catcher?
Okay, let me look up his name. Damn,
Oh.
I knew you were going to
Not Austin Wells. That's Allison's
I
man.
know, I'm
She
like-
loves-
Excuse me.
she loves number 28.
I mean, you know.
She loves number 28. One thing I
Yadier
like about,
Molina.
Oh God.
oh yeah, he was really good.
Can't believe I had to look his name up. That's sad.
As well, we're talking baseball. Are we
I know
talking
things,
Braves?
but I'm like 80% on the details.
Are we talking Braves baseball at all today, Terry? Are they doing anything?
Well, they
down
are
there in
over
Atlanta?
500 after an 0-7
Woohoo!
start, 24-23, and in third place behind the Mets and the Phillies. So, and they're playing
Which
the
is
Red
rude.
Sox. So, trying to help you guys out, and while you
Yes,
guys help
please.
us out.
Yeah, Freed just gave up a double into the corner, but unlike that garbage Juan Soto, the judge picked it up out of the corner, got it right to second base. He's not getting any farther.
And
Juan Soto
Acuna has
advanced
started
around.
rehab in the minors. He is actually.
Oh,
playing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
we've
be
got
too
more
bad.
notes on that too. So they're 500. How is the schedule looking, or are you aware of what you all
Oh,
have
I don't.
upcoming? Because next week the Yankees get a day off, 3 of them, as they play the Colorado Rockies, and they're sending Judge and company to
That's
Denver,
hilarious.
Let's
the
vote
Mile
now.
High City, where the ball is going to fly. Very
Over
far.
under total number of runs for that series.
I'm going 41 Yankees.
I'm gonna do 32 Yankees.
Terry, what do you think against
3 games?
Colorado? On pace, 3 games
3
in
games.
Denver, on pace to be the worst team in baseball.
29.
Okay.
Terry thinks the pitching staff's going to get it done. Look, they
I'm
fired
impressed.
their manager in Colorado already, and the Orioles did likewise this week. They fired their manager too. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Ooh.
So here's what the Braves have coming up. At Washington, then they got the Padres, then they're at the Phillies, then they have the Red Sox again
Again.
at
Ugh.
home this time.
Yeah. So the Yankees have the Rangers, and then they have the Rockies. And so the Rangers pretty good baseball team, but the Rockies are utter trash. And if they don't
They
score
are.
40 runs on them, it's going to be embarrassing.
They
'Cause
are at
Coors-
a very historic rate right now. I mean, last year's
Yeah.
White Sox set the record for most losses, and the Rockies are way behind their win.
Bye-bye. Got him. Freed got out of a jam, but he's already at 89 or 69 pitches through 4. This is unacceptable. 69 pitches through 4. I get that the Mets have some talent, okay, but they're still the stupid Mets.
They are. They are the stupid
mean-
Mets.
They are the stupid Mets. But speaking of
Oh.
talent, Terry,
Yeah.
God's team, the New York Yankees, number 1 in the AL East, not going anywhere. 4.5 games up on Toronto and Boston. They're about to be 5.5 games up here in 5 innings or so. Aaron Judge, the captain, the leader of the team, number one in all measurable statistical categories offensively, with the exception of home runs. His OPS is over 1.27. He has 45-ish RBIs. He's got 70-plus hits. Extra bases is insanity. So he's having a year, and he's batting over 400. It was up to over 420. He's now down to 403. We should probably fire his ass.
Please do. We'll pick him up.
For batting
DFA.
402. We should probably fire him because he went 0 for 5 yesterday against the stupid Mets and struck out 3 times. But part of the reason, and I think I shared this video to our group on Instagram, it was Judge talking about his mechanics.
Yep.
And he didn't change his swing, but he changed the way he held the bat. So he's no longer raising the bat up. It's already in position for when he's swinging. And his batting average is 80 plus points higher than it was last year. Also, Bellinger's been on a tear. He has gone 12 straight games with a hit, so finally warming up. Unfortunately, Oswaldo Cabrera broke his ankle in Seattle and is out indefinitely. They did bring back, help me say his name, the pitcher, the middle reliever.
Goldschmidt? No.
No,
I'm gonna Google
the pitcher.
I don't know.
Yankees pitching staff.
I'm like, I don't know who it is.
I sent it to you in a text message.
Oh, God. You sent me 8,000 text messages.
He only
All right,
pitched one
bullpen.
inning.
We're talking the bullpen. Whoa.
Bullpen. He only pitched one inning.
The Loasiga guy.
That's it.
Loazga. Yeah.
Loazga.
Okay.
I
It's
call
hard
him
to say his
lasagna.
name. Yeah,
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
Hey, that's what
Loazga
we
is-
called that really old guy that played basketball at Auburn, Baker
And
Lasagna.
they DFA'd another pitcher. The guy that blew
Williams?
No, Mater. We're not that fortunate. Mater, whatever. They DFA'd him, but anyway, yeah, the Yankees are looking fine. What was I going to say? Oh, Stanton is live batting practice, and the rehab games are starting for Hill 1st of June.
We need
Also,
more thirst trap pictures of
because we have to watch the Dodgers because
My
they're the number
logo
one team.
with the mini logos is not good enough for you, Allison. You need pictures of the dudes.
I mean,
Yeah,
when it's
Maybe I'll put that in the
Giancarlo,
white space.
when
I'll
it's
put like the
Giancarlo,
Yankees lined up on the top of the white space and the Braves lined up on the bottom of the
Andrew,
white
we
space.
should share those pictures of Giancarlo with the water.
Oh yeah, Terry loves those. Yeah,
Oh yeah, big
the
fan.
ESPN photos.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just have those up here instead of this.
Oh damn it, Dominguez. Anyway, the whole thing with the Yankees though too is when you bring Giancarlo back, you're putting a $40 million bat back in an offense that is number one in all categories in baseball. They have the most home runs. Now, this is collectively the most home runs, the most hits, the most extra bases, the most RBIs, the highest overall batting average. And yes, it helps when you're anchored by Aaron Judge, but they're getting a lot of help from everybody else around him too. So you put Giancarlo back into the damn lineup, and he's a $40 million bat, and his job is very, very simple. Hit home runs. I mean, he can hit an RBI. That's fine, but he's a slugger. That's his job, is to hit home runs. They don't put Giancarlo in there to get on first and go steal 3 bases. That's not going to happen.
And
So it's not going to happen.
unless the catcher breaks his arm or something.
But when Cleveland is up 2-0 and the bases are loaded and it's to go to the World Series and you put Giancarlo Stanton in there and he just swings it and bye-bye. I don't know. I think they're more effective than they were last year with Soto, Judge, and Giancarlo in the mid 3 because there are base hitters. Now, this is still a Yankees problem, and I don't know if you could speak to it to the Braves, Terry. Left on base is a statistic they also lead, and I cannot stand the fact that the Yankees get so many guys on base and then they lose them. Oh, and DJ LeMahieu is back, and I'm up in the air on that because I like Oswaldo better than DJ, but he did hit a home run yesterday. So anyway,
Yeah, the left on base problem has always been a problem for the Yankees. It reared its ugly head in the playoffs really bad for us. So I'm not happy to see it happening again this early in the season. Usually it's a late in the season problem we have. So it's a little discouraging, but I'm not going to fire anybody yet. So,
but Grisham, Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge, Dominguez, all hitting.
Yep.
All hitting right now. And they're getting hitting from their other players. And I just mentioned him. Oh, Soto actually made a catch. Good for him. Damn, that would have been a triple. Because there's no way he would have gotten it if he hadn't gotten the glove. But anyway, 2-1 Yankees, top of the
But
fifth.
I'll say for the Braves, Acuna's on his way back.
Is he, though?
Well, he's on his way. When it'll happen, I don't know. But he is playing in the minors right now. Austin Riley's doing pretty well with the bats. Matt Olson's okay. Marcelo Zuna's hitting fairly well. Putting Acuna in the lineup is going to be a big plus for the bats. But there's a couple of guys pitching. Schwallenbeck, who I know you like to hear about, Andrew, and Sale.
Where did he go to college?
He went to
It might have
Nebraska.
been Nebraska, yeah.
He went to Nebraska. Oh,
so both of those guys are doing pretty well. The win-loss doesn't really show it just because they had losses early in the season because the offense was doing nothing. But, if you knock out the first 7 games of the season, they are 8 games above 500. So that's where we are.
The Yankees are 8-1 with Max Fried on the bump. So we once again thank Atlanta for their contribution to the dominance of God's team in baseball.
Well, it's a long history of Andrew Jones, Brian McCann.
We appreciate
you guys gave us Deion Sanders.
That's fine.
It is incredible. Speaking of pitching, and we'll move on. Shohei threw 50 in a bullpen yesterday. So I don't know. This is a fun topic, I guess. The man is leading the MLB right now with 16 home runs. I think he's batting average right around 300. He is the leadoff hitter for the Dodgers, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But they don't pitch around him either because of who he has that follows him, including Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez. So it doesn't get any better for pitchers out there either. The question is, if you're Dave Roberts, and I'll qualify this because I watch the Dodgers more than both of you because I just watch baseball when I go to sleep. And guess what baseball team is on the West Coast, Terry? It's West Coast baseball. 10 o'clock at night, we're starting a baseball game.
God, I've been asleep for an hour.
If you're Dave Roberts, knowing you've got Sasaki is now on the IL because of some sort of strain he's had, and he had it last year. I forget what it is, but it's in his throwing arm. And you've got several other pitchers down. Kershaw pitched yesterday. It's the other 2 older pitchers. Bottom line is, do you run the risk of pitching Shohei Ohtani? Or do you just rely on his bat?
Well, I think it really depends on how healthy his arm is because, I know he's been playing the field, DH hitting, even though he's been bringing his arm back for pitching. It really depends on how much confidence you have in that. And none of anything that's going on with your team should not be a factor in that.
So you don't think that the injury should matter in Dave Roberts' decision to bring Ohtani back in as a pitcher?
I think if you are looking at lack of depth in the pitching staff and bringing him back sooner, I think that's a mistake. Because I think injuring your biggest superstar hitter is far worse than not having enough pitching depth.
Yeah, Kershaw pitched yesterday and lost. So he's been pitching 18 years. And then they have the other who is the other guy with the long, the white guy with the long hair? I always forget his name. Hold
I
on.
don't know. I'll have to look it up here. Active roster.
I'm looking it up. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I can't remember his name. And
Is he a starter?
He was, and then he's on the injury list. But right now, Yamamoto is number 1. Although he did give up a grand slam, which upped his ERA. So let's see: Shohei, Teoscar, Blake Snell,
Okay.
Roki Sasaki. Snell's not the one I'm thinking. It's Glasnow. Glasnow's the one with the long hair. So Tyler Glasnow, right shoulder inflammation, April 28th. Expected to return TBD. Roki Sasaki, right shoulder impingement. IL date May 13th, 15 days, TBD. Blake Snell, left shoulder inflammation, 60-day IL, retroactive to April 3rd. Cleared by team doctors, resumed a throwing program May 14th. So the Dodgers are still winning, despite the fact the heart of their bullpen, their starting rotation has been gutted. My question was, is that enough of a reason to put Shohei into the lineup, or do you just let him be the designated hitter and deal with your injuries? Because it's still pre-All-Star game, pre-July. You're not in a playoff situation.
What's
my
your
opinion?
feeling?
My opinion is, and I'm looking at all of the guys that are listed under rotation on MLB for the Dodgers, and there's a lot of them because there's a lot of injuries. 6 injured pitchers from the starting rotation. But I see 5 guys that are healthy. I see Shohei Ohtani's kind of sitting down there, which is kind of weird because he's not up with the other 5 guys, but he's kind of just floating there. But they are in the lead in the division. If it were the second half, maybe you think about that. But I see 2 guys, Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow, that are on the 15-day IL. I don't know the details of those necessarily, but all the rest of the guys are 60-day, which mean they're long term. There's a couple of guys that could come back within a reasonable time frame. You've got 5 starters. You've got the lead in the division. You don't do it unless it comes down to the second half of the season, and then you need him to fill some of those roles.
So you wouldn't pitch him at all?
I would not pitch him. Maybe I let him start working out just to get him in some shape to do that. And I don't know how much of that he does, but you don't rush that unless you really need it because they still have the lead in the division.
He threw 50 pitches yesterday. Long bullpen session. So to your point, they're warming him up. But there's difference in throwing in the bullpen and throwing off the mound.
Right. You don't make the decision until you are convinced that he's able to do that with no trouble.
Well, and you don't want to hurt your superstar.
Right.
That all things run through offensively.
Right.
Because he really does set the tone for the Dodgers offense.
This is a bad problem to have, by the way.
Yeah, I mean
a good problem to have. I'm sorry.
I just
I messed that up.
I worry that if you keep him out and he's ready, that could fuck him up more. If he's not pitching on a regular schedule and he's healthy.
I would rather it be a plan to start the season as him pitching and not consider it in the middle of a season. Because then at some point you don't have anything, you don't have a real deadline to reach for there or to shoot for. And you just maybe bring him back sooner than you need to. I would rather it be let's let him start pitching next year and go through this season without it. I mean, that's just my preference, though.
Well, the other thing is you get all those guys healthy because Snell was added intentionally. Glasnow, Roki Sasaki. Sasaki's had the inconsistencies we talked about on this show before. But if he was to find the consistency, all of a sudden you have 6 starting pitchers when you add Yamamoto and Clayton Kershaw, and then you put Shohei in there. That's one hell of a rotation where you're asking a pitcher to rest 6 to 7 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're going to have days off for travel and the other stuff in between there too.
Right.
So my point being, that's why the Yankees like a 5-man rotation. Thank God Marcus Stroman hasn't shown back up. But Carlos, I'm going to spot him for Rodon, is still in the Yankees starting lineup. But he likes to start him. He likes to spot him for Terry, the other team, and then he'll go on a run and strike out 10, 12, 15 batters. But he doesn't like to do it when it's 0-0. He likes to do that when the other team is up by 3 or 4 runs he gave them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not a great trait for a pitcher. No.
Well, you know what? We got a lot of wrestling to talk about, and we still got
right,
a top
yeah.
10 list. So why don't we move along? And I don't think this next segment's going to take too long. I got a new logo for the NCAA.
I like this.
I tried.
so
I
funny.
will admit the Alabama logo probably fits the A a little bit better because there's that
Yeah.
pesky U sitting there. But NCAA logo with the big red N and the AU logo kind of sitting on top of it. That's this week's version of what I'm putting up here for NCAA. So I will say this, Auburn baseball, it's kind of a weird situation because they were ranked number 6 in the country, but I looked at the standings in the Southeastern Conference, and they were the 5th team in the standings of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, SEC baseball has dominated.
Yeah. So they have, I think they only have a couple of SEC teams ahead of them. LSU was number 1. Texas is up there. There's some other teams up there, but it was kind of a weird combination. You know, your conference is good when the number 6 team in the country is in your conference and they're number 5 in your conference. But it's about to start up pretty soon. I think 64 teams make it, and they go to the regionals and the super regionals, and then they head to Omaha. So hopefully that's the goal. Head to Omaha, and then we'll get to. Unfortunately, they're in a new stadium. You know, I'm for the classic Rosenblatt, but it is no more. So I have to deal with that. But you know, College World Series coming up pretty soon.
Well, before we get there, Max Fried just threw a wild pitch and gave up a run to the Mets, and then comes back and struck out Juan Soto. So Max is having a terrible game. That is an overthrow at first. That is a walk. And now that is
Terry's fault.
That is a wild pitch. I'm bragging about Max Fried and what a great pitcher he is, and he is really not doing well tonight. It's 2-2 Yankees, and Mets are tied up. Anywho, Nebraska softball made it to the Super Regional.
Okay.
And the baseball team might get to the Big Ten tournament so they can get bounced pretty quickly. But otherwise, you know, there's not really anything going on in Nebraska other than they're still doing their recruiting, which I think is weird. It's like I thought there was a dead period, Terry, but I'm seeing all this stuff where there's
I don't know. I think, you know, I've thought about putting a note in about Donald Trump wanting to create a committee with Nick Saban on it and all that, but I figured I'll spare our listeners all that.
The producer's
right now, who knows? It's just a bunch of crazy ideas up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, well, that happens. Maybe they'll give him a plane. I know there was a country that gave him a plane this week.
Qatar, yeah.
Qatar, yeah.
I mean, it's a plane. It's a weird gift. But anywho, it was sometimes you take your wins. But yeah, Nebraska softball super regional. Good for them.
Excellent.
Like I said, nothing on the football other than they're excited about Rayola year 2. They want to see the advancement. This is rules year 3, which means he goes from and this is the big jump. This is what everybody says.
We're hoping for a big jump ourselves.
Here's the thing about Matt Rule, though. At Temple, they went like 2-10, and then they went 5-7, and then he won the conference, or he finished there. At Baylor, they went 1-11 or 2-10 or whatever, and then they went 5-7, and then they played in the conference championship game. Matt Rule then went to Carolina. Now he's at Nebraska. He has never finished the job. So as a Nebraska football fan, I am qualifying this big year 3 jump with the fact that Matt Rule has never stayed around long enough anywhere he's ever been to actually finish the job.
You know what's funny? You say that, but there's a list of Auburn coaches that came in and had success very quickly and then fell apart. So that's the difference.
As long as he keeps going the right way, I'm cool with it. With 5-7, 7-6. Oh, this is just my process. It always takes 3 years. Bitch, we've been waiting for 25. So put the fucking pedal to the metal.
So watch Auburn and Nebraska play in a bowl game this year. That'll be freaking.
God.
Terry would
gold
not
for
want to
us.
see me
I
that
don't,
day.
I don't want that
No,
to happen.
no.
Why don't we move on to wrestling?
Let's
Because
move
like
on.
we said, we don't have a lot of college stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking WWE first, and Saturday night's main event coming up on Saturday, of course. And first match we'll talk about, and I skipped over one. No, why don't we go back to it? Okay, steel cage match. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. My deal is, what would it be like if all of a sudden we saw the big blue cage come out for Saturday night's main event with these two guys in it? It'd be the greatest thing ever for me.
I think it would. I mean, why not? I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do this, yeah, it's just the old throwback to the orange. Well, that was the war to settle the score, but
I mean, so I'm going to ask the obvious question. Didn't we just have a steel cage match at Backlash?
yes,
Right?
no,
No? Where did we
Yes.
I just saw a steel cage match somewhere.
Samoa Joe versus
Oh, so it was
Moxley.
AEW. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. I just
If it was the big blue, you would remember it.
yeah, okay.
I
I
like
just
the
don't
idea.
see. Go ahead.
I just like the idea of the big blue. I don't know that they've done enough job on this Saturday night's main event. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't. This match to me is a.
Cheese
okay.
it up, man. Go as 80s as you can get.
Oh, I'm all for that. Absolutely. It's just the match itself. I'm just.
You're talking
Yeah.
about
Well, I
our
mean,
truth.
we're going to talk about 3 more matches, and none of them strike me as something
See-
that's bringing my eyeballs to the TV. Not a single
Okay, we'll talk about it because I have very strong opinions for one of these matches.
one. Okay. Why don't we move on from that? Because the only thing that we really said was let's bring the
Yeah.
big blue back
Blue Cage.
on
Yeah,
that.
just
It's
bring it
like,
back.
these are a couple of guys that are normally in 8-man matches or whatever. And you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The next
Oh,
match,
look.
we've got this
Multi-man match.
this obvious these are obvious tag teams, right? CM Punk and Zayn. Sami Zayn, like that's an obvious tag team. Goes without saying, right? And then Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
Do
Are
you
we
not
looking-
think this is going to be a banger? See, I think this is going to be a great match.
I think the
I
match will be fine, but my question is this
Well,
just
bet.
setting up a Sami Zayn turn?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Seth Rollins is hot right now, as is Braun Breaker in this new role. I think this is great. I think
So
this
I think each person in this match individually is at a great spot for one reason or another. I don't necessarily know why all of these guys are combined into this tag team match.
agree. Totally agree with that. But right now, the level that all 4 of these are at, I can't see anything but a good match coming out of this.
Yeah, it'll probably be a good match.
I think we'll also see shenanigans.
Tons and tons of shenanigans. You
But
can
Right.
do
bet
we
bottom
see a
dollar.
future of a relationship between Punk and Sami Zayn, or is this a one match thing and then we're done with it?
I don't know.
Well, they've danced. Braun Breaker and Punk, or not Punk, Sami Zayn have danced before.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the idea of Punk versus CM or versus Breaker. Obviously, the Seth Rollins and Punk thing was really, really hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea if they can continue that story, but they kind of convoluted WrestleMania with Roman involved in there. To me, the WrestleMania match should have been CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Or if you weren't going to do that match, let's do CM Punk versus or Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, rather. Excuse me. Because that, even at Royal Rumble, when Rollins does the double stomp on Roman, And then when you get the shot before it happens of Roman staring down Rollins. Plus, last year it was Rollins that cost Roman the title against Cody. So I don't think they did a good job there. It would not shock me if you see the Tribal Chief return to Saturday night's main event, because they've got to have something, and look where it is. Tampa, Florida. He's from Pensacola. So it wouldn't shock me to see Roman Reigns back Saturday night. To Terry's point, this is just another Monday Night Raw for me. But go ahead.
Well, so I guess I don't know that I'm gonna correct myself, but I'm gonna extend a thought about Saturday night's main event. It is not a pay-per-view. It is not a PLE. It is a special show akin to the named Dynamites in AEW, but probably a little better. But it is a way to extend a storyline. So something may come of this, and this is a way to get there. And maybe that's what I need to tell myself, that this is not a pay-per-view. These are not the type of matches that you're supposed to see. You know, these are not going to be the type of matches you would see on a pay-per-view. These are matches getting you to a pay-per-view.
That's why you went exactly where I was going to. And yes, we see this. Oh no. The Mets just walk, Judge. Andrew is having a conniption. No, you went exactly to where I was going as well. This is the story setup.
Yeah.
That's where we're getting. But to your point as well, to me, this is a little more than the name Dynamites, because
right.
Have we really seen one yet though that was bad? No. They live up to the name. So
I would agree with that. Saturday Night Main Event has been pretty good since they brought it back. Yeah.
Because they didn't overdo it. Also, it's not.
I'm looking for him to overdo it, man.
Terry says, "Please give it all the smoke."
Well, I don't mean by that.
I want to see the Honky Tonk Man come out and everything.
I mean, like every week have a Saturday night's main event.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's what I mean.
And Dynamite.
I want all the cheese. I'm good for
it's
that.
Way overused. They're named Dynamites, as I call them.
Yeah.
Bases are now loaded.
All right, let's move to the next match. Hurry up.
Okay, the next match. We've got Jey Uso and Logan Paul, and this should be a good match. What are
Who is this guy in this picture, though? Because that ain't Logan Paul.
I think this is what should happen. Logan Paul, Jey Uso should fight to a double DQ, and they both get to wrestle the ring general Gunther at the next pay-per-view.
Because you got to have that multi-man match.
You need another multi-man match, and somebody's got to carry Jey Uso, and I don't know that Logan Paul can carry Jey Uso to a good match, and Allison's head is now about to explode like there's a thunderstorm outside.
I mean, you nailed it. I hate saying it, but I don't know what else they're going to do. This is...
So, Terry, you're aware that Gunther's the number one contender for the title.
Right.
And he will be facing whoever wins this match at a pay-per-view. They've already announced that.
Yeah.
Damn, they left the bases loaded. Rude. Anyway.
So how do you expect to win this?
So far in advance, though, your natural inclination is you think Jey Uso wins. The only way I think that you continue the story is because we've already seen Gunther and Jey Uso 4 times on either Saturday Night Main Event, not live, or pay-per-view. If you have a finish where you have a double DQ, which everybody loves those finishes.
I could see Gunther coming
It's a function of getting to the 3-way match so that you at least have a different element of Gunther versus Jey. Otherwise, we just have Jey versus Gunther, and why would you have Gunther lose again to Jey Uso in a one-on-one wrestling match for the world title?
Yeah.
Now, if Gunther's involved in the match and Jey pins Logan Paul and never touches Gunther, then you have another way to build on to that match. But if you're not going to put the title back on Gunther, don't put him in the match.
Yes.
That's my opinion. Now that doesn't make it right, but I also don't think WWE booked Gunther well with the world title. They booked him far better with the Intercontinental title than they did the world title.
Agreed.
And it may just be the level of wrestler he was able to work with at that point, meaning the way they were able to work the upper mid card guys. A lot of times are better wrestlers than the upper card.
Then they put him against Pat McAfee.
Yeah. And Sammy is a great foil to Gunther, but not necessarily a great professional wrestler.
So we didn't predict winners on the previous 2 matches.
Give me
through that real quick. How about
give me Rollins? Give me Rollins and Breaker because I want the heat.
Okay.
I will also take Rollins and Breaker.
I'll take those 2.
What was the first match?
The first match was the steel cage match between
Priest
and McIntyre.
Because he hasn't won anything. And I'm going to take Priest because he hasn't won anything in a while.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with McIntyre because I think McIntyre really has a huge upside that WWE knows he does, but they don't have room for him right now. So they're trying to do the best they can. I just don't think that Damian Priest is very good. No offense to the Damian Priest fans, but I don't think he's very good in this current incarnation of his character.
He's that extra guy in those man matches.
So I see one of those 2 going against Karrion Kross.
I could care less about Karrion Kross too.
I agree, but there's a push for him now, and I could see that being the next way to go.
Yeah. Okay, what about this match? What is our official pick here for Uso and Paul?
Double disqualification, Gunther.
So I don't think it's a double DQ. I think Gunther comes in and causes the match to end. Would that technically be a double DQ? I think
Paul wins, whether it's interference or
really
something. Yeah.
I love the crowd that says Logan Paul doesn't deserve to be in the match.
All of that talk needs to stop. Both Logan Paul and Pat McAfee have put in their dues, and they have both proved they can.
I don't know. I'm not putting McAfee up.
I disagree. He took some chops. He took some. He stood his own.
I will give him credit for doing what he does as an announcer, as a former punter in the NFL, or former soccer player or whatever. Right, but I guess my issue was more they put him against Gunther.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Right. That's my real issue.
And that's the issue I have when the next announced match is Gunther versus Jay or Logan.
Right.
I think I don't think there was any reason to announce it as early as they did. What are you going to build it? I mean, WWE is kind of rested on their laurels building things. And you're going to build it. Remember, at WrestleMania, Jay was going to do things to Gunther he had to pray for forgiveness for, and that didn't happen in that match either. So, anyway, give me the double DQ, Terry. I'm booking here.
All right. Sounds good. Then we got John Cena and R-Truth.
Okay.
God, if R-Truth won this would be the greatest freaking event ever.
So this is my soapbox match. Okay, right here.
Former NWA champion you're talking about there, Terry. Go ahead, Alice.
40 years ago.
I love everything about R-Truth, and I know the least about him, okay?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, you guys know I don't care if anybody knows what I know or don't know. But his promos leading up to this have been very specific, and the words he was using were very specific. And he talked a lot about he just needs to remind John Cena of who he is. And if there's one thing anybody knows about R-Truth, it's how much he loves John Cena and idolizes him. I can't see this either going. I can't see R-Truth winning, okay? I just don't see that happening as much as I love him. But this could be the turn for John Cena. Back to a face.
I think it's too early for that. I see what you're saying. I think it's too early for that. There's no way you would convince me John Cena's losing this match.
Right.
I think it would be great if R-Truth won. I really do. I am in that boat because I love R-Truth and everything he does is entertaining, one way or the other.
Are we setting up a double turn with Cena and Cody?
So I thought about that too. I was like, ooh. I was like, what if Truth?
I hope so.
Decide? Oh, really?
Well, and I don't.
Not on Saturday night's main event, obviously.
They're
but
selling
sometime
and advertising Cody's stuff, so the return is imminent. It's just what Cody, like you said, what Cody Rhodes do we get? White meat babyface, chew him up and spit him out. Because really, I was fine with much of the Cena and Cody build, but now Cena's on his own, and we've had the Randy Orton match, we've had the R-Truth match, and I pointed this out, and I may have pointed this out last week. There's only so many contemporaries he has left that he can have these matches with.
Yeah.
Because they're either retired or like Triple H has a heart disease where they'll never clear him to be in the ring. There's all those sort of things. I don't know. R-Truth, though, is timeless. So this works. Randy Orton works. At some point, I think they need to pull the trigger on an AJ Styles match. That would work. But like Taker and Michaels and Triple H and Rock, do you get a Rock match with Cena? Probably not.
Yeah.
Do you get a Roman match? Probably not, because it can't carry it. They can't carry it. This match is going to be fun and it's going to be entertaining. And R-Truth is a far better worker than what most people remember. But he's the comedy guy on WWE.
R-Truth is the Julio Franco of wrestling. He
and
just keeps going, and he's good. I would love, and here, seriously, I would love at some point when he decides to get out of the ring, no matter if he's the comedy guy or not, to end up with a microphone and just think about Pat McAfee and R-Truth sitting at the table talking about a match.
I'd pay money to watch that. Absolutely.
That would be entertaining. Yeah, I mean, R-Truth would be, you hear Jim Ross say it, and shout out to Jim. He has colon cancer, by the way. Grumpiest.
My sister-in-law beat, so can he.
Grumpiest old fucker in the world, but you don't want colon cancer.
That's right. Pulling for him.
We really are. The R-Truth, though, as Jim Ross would say, could read the phone book and be entertaining. Yeah. Like, that is how good he is. It's why they kept him around. So, but yes, we do love Jim Ross, even his cantankerous old ass and grumpy, and he's high all the time. Although if I was the lead announcer for AEW, I'd be high all the time too. I don't know if that segue works or not, Terry, but I'm picking Cena for the main event of Saturday Night Main Event.
Cena as well. As much as
I'll pick Cena, I don't think there's any way R-Truth actually wins this, although I would love it. God, if I were picking for what I want to happen, I think it would be R-Truth, but that's not going to happen. And I believe that's all of them.
Yep.
That's Saturday night's main event, and that's all the WWE because we need to move on to AEW and Double or Nothing. That's
we need
right there.
to move on to AEW.
No longer in Las Vegas. What a shame.
Does Bober realize he butt dialed me a voicemail earlier?
Yeah. We're going to share it with him in the group chat. Oh, Bobes is here. Yeah. Nice of you to join us for hockey season, sir. The good news is there's a lot of wrestling. Double or Nothing in Arizona. By the way, last check, and I'll look while we talk about this. WrestleTix had, I think the setup is 6,500. I will never forget the first Double or Nothing, Las Vegas, Nevada. The MGM. Allison was there. I was there. 14,500. And that crowd was lit. You are struggling to put 6,500 people in the building for this event. And here's my point about that. While it was exciting because it was new back in 2019, AEW has a far better talent roster, a television show, production, booking, etc., etc., in the words of Moira Rose, there is no excuse for them to have half the people in the building and have to go to a different venue. Because, like you know, Allison, because Las Vegas is one of our favorite cities, there's always something to do in Vegas. You could get people to come to Vegas for this.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
all right, first
that's my
match.
soapbox. I don't understand how they can't sell with like guys like this. You two go ahead and discuss while I look up.
Okay, first off, before we get into the match itself, is this not like the worst picture of Hangman Adam Page you've ever seen?
Absolutely correct.
His hair is atrocious these days, and I'm not even the hair person. I think his hair needs the blonde highlights.
So the Owen Hart men's final, Will Ospreay against Hangman Adam Page. I think that's Hangman Adam Page. It looks about as much like Hangman Adam Page as the promo picture of Becky looked last week or a couple of weeks ago.
And Ospreay's hair always changes. Like he never has the same haircut week to week. Y'all keep an eye on it. I'm not making that up.
So this is, I guess, the tournament final, and you know, I really speak out against not really caring about the Owen Hart tournament. I think it's great that they're getting his name out there and that kind of thing, but tournaments, I'm over tournament. I love WrestleMania 4. I will go on record. I like WrestleMania 4 better than most people do, but they didn't have 4 tournaments a year, you know. So anyway, Will Ospreay
and the Macho Man won the world title.
Well, that helps.
Damn, Juan Soto has caught 2 deep fly balls today.
We're all over the place.
I mean, this is ridiculous. WWE Saturday night's main event from the Yingling Center in Tampa, Florida. I swear to God, that's the name of it.
Yingling, not Yingling.
No, when I was drinking, it was Yingling, so it will always be. We killed Allison. It will always be Yingling because that's what it was when I was drinking.
Oh my goodness!
From the Yingling Center, they have 9,762 set up. They have 9,454 sold for the show we just reviewed, Saturday night's main event.
Okay,
that is not a great show. But they've got it sold out. Hold on, let me see if I can find.
But it's not a pay-per-view. It's not a premium live event.
But they're going to put 10,000 people in the Yingling Center. There.
Bunch of Yinglings.
So I'm moving on because I need to.
Okay, Ospreay and Adam Page.
Yes.
And I guess the winner of this gets a title shot or something, right?
Two days ago. Soto with a third catch, and he just cut 2 people off. What's wrong with him? 2 days ago, from the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, your Double or Nothing pay-per-view set up for 6,876, 6,015 tickets distributed, 861 left.
That's pretty good.
Less than 7,000 people going to be in that building.
For a pay-per-view, though.
For a pay-per-view.
And not only a pay-per-view, one of AEW's marquee pay-per-views.
Tent poles, as they like to call them.
This is not a backlash.
So let me
Allison is cussing us. Look at that face. Look at her, Jerry.
I'm trying so hard.
So
what's the average ticket price?
Oh, AEW $10, WWE $100. Or it might as well be.
So this is my point here. I think AEW is actually pretty damn smart. They're not outpricing their attendees, their fans. They're right sizing, because if you guys remember, I think it was the second or the third Double or Nothing, it was not sold out. So I don't think they're necessary.
I mean, they're doing the right things, but they're responding to lack of interest to do that.
I mean, yeah, but again, we're still in the first how many years of the business, okay? It's not.
What are we?
We've got a lot of those people.
Year 6. Year 6. Yeah.
Shit.
You don't get to use that as an excuse
Okay,
anymore.
forget it. I take it back. All right, I'm moving on. Hangman Adam Page can have shitty hair because his mustache is everything.
His hair sucks. He needs to get the highlights back in
It's
it.
okay. It's okay because that mustache, he can do whatever he wants. That's fine.
He was feeling some sort of way with that haircut. That's all I'm saying.
So I guess
I-
I'll go first. I would like
Yeah.
Ospreay to win this.
Oh no.
I
Not
don't
me.
live in a.
I'm all
I don't live in a
Hangman all the
world.
way.
I
You're
don't live in a
Hangman all the
world.
way, really.
Yeah, I don't live in a world where I believe Will Ospreay loses this match. I think the all-in main event in July is Will Ospreay crowning achievement, taking the title off of Jon Moxley.
That's fine.
There's
But
Bobo.
I think Hangman's got the good push right now. And I don't know.
Well, it's certainly his counterpart and best program in AEW. Swerve doesn't have the good push right now because
Right.
he's
No.
stuck in that awful main event that we're going to talk about.
I will tell you, I originally knew that if this was Will versus Kyle Fletcher, because it was Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman for this spot, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you knew if it was Kyle Fletcher, you knew Will was going to win. No question, right? This match, I don't think is as predictable.
Right.
I just don't.
Well, Hangman
Well-
has a little bit of that Moxley kind of thing with AEW where they're going to throw some wins at him, even if
Yeah.
it's not really his win to have.
Okay.
But I'm going to pick Ospreay in this anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going with Ospreay simply because I think the long term, the crowning achievement, the big moment at the end of your big pay-per-view in Texas, 18,000 tickets is what they got set up for that. They haven't sold them all. They will not be selling one to me. I am not going to Texas for outdoor wrestling in July. No, thank you. And I like hot weather. I know I'm not dragging Allison Faye along.
Hell no.
Texas.
I mean, if it was Vegas, it's another story.
I think
'cause
it's,
dry
I think it's
heat.
actually roofed or whatever, but it's going to be hot regardless because
Yeah.
it is Texas in July. So, like anything you want to do outside the event's going to suck. But anywho, I think they've kind of run with Hangman, and now they're ready to run with Ospreay. To your point, I thought we were going to get a fuck finish when it was Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman
Mhm.
because I was like, there's no way they're going to have Hangman beat, and he beat him clean too.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
was no interference or anything. Good for AEW. But I think Ospreay wins this one. I also think, just my opinion, and it won't be, but this should be the main event of the night. Because you know they're going to do the bullshit anarchy in the arena. This one should close the show.
Did you
Agreed.
provide a pick, Allison?
No.
She said Hangman all the way.
I said Hangman all the way.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got scolded
All
for
right.
being
So
loud.
here's the women's
Yeah.
final. We got Mercedes Moné against Jamie Hayter.
Speaking of hair, Allison, what do we think of the hair style going on in this match?
So Jamie Hayter has the vintage look going. All for it. She looks fantastic. Her hair is spot on, gorgeous. Mercedes just puts colors in her hair. She's not. I don't know, but unfortunately, Mercedes will win this. No question.
Lawaza with the strikeout.
Yeah, she's going to
Bam!
win it, and I agree with that. Mercedes will win it just because.
Yeah.
I hate
What's his
Mercedes Moné. I hate her voice. Say hello to the CEO. No, bitch. Go away. You have go away heat with me. I want to see Tony Storm just knock your fucking head off. Actually, I'd love to see Jamie Hayter knock her head off and win this TBS championship. I don't think we see it. I think, unfortunately, I think Mercedes wins. Hayter presents a different style of match and a different size of opponent than what she's had in the past. But the Hulk Hogan of AEW is not going to let herself be beat. So, brother. So I think Hayter loses,
Monet must pose.
even though she
Brother.
shouldn't. Even though she shouldn't, because AEW's pattern's really simple.
Yes.
This is your Owen Hart Women's Tournament final. It's not even for the title. But you're not going to put, if you think your dream match, Lawaza strikeout number 2, if you think your dream match is Mercedes Moné versus Tony Storm at All In the semi-main event of the evening, you have to have Mercedes win this. And by the way, I get that Martha doesn't want anything to do with WWE because they killed her husband in her view, but I don't like that this is the Owen Hart tournament either. I don't like it. He had nothing to do with AEW. His style wouldn't be anything close to what AEW does today. There isn't a wrestler in AEW that looks close to what Owen Hart would do, and it's absolute garbage that they use his name as a political thing to rub in the face of WWE.
Yeah. So you pointed out something I don't think I was aware of. I didn't realize her title wasn't up in this match.
No.
I think with that in mind, Jamie Hayter could have a win here.
I don't think so, only
It would
because
be good.
I think they're going Mercedes, and this is another one they've announced 60 days in advance, though. The winners of both these matches are going to face the world champion at All In.
Yeah.
Do you... Okay, I don't see Mercedes versus... It's Tony, isn't it?
Yeah. Right now it's Tony. Mia Shirakawa could beat her, but that's not happening. So
Yeah, that's a
I don't
preview
know.
of what's coming in a minute.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
sorry,
actually
Carrie.
gonna change my vote. I'm gonna go with Jamie Hayter on this one.
Okay.
I love Jamie Hayter's hair. I love her style. It was sucked that she got hurt for so long. She's in Tony's doghouse. No way she beats the Golden Goose and Mercedes Moné.
I would love them to have the guts to do that and show us a good storyline from that, but I expect Mercedes to win.
Okay.
Damn it, Lawaza.
Let's move on, and it will be Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm against Mina Shirakawa.
Mina Shirakawa, who made out with Tony Storm not that long ago with Mariah May in the middle. Mariah May heading to WWE allegedly.
I think this will be a very good match. This will be a fun match. I think this will be a quick match. And it's
I don't live in a world, as I like to say, where Tony Storm leaves without the title.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
She's gonna hit the Storm Zero. I mean, they actually now they beat her Wednesday night in this 4-way eliminator.
Yeah.
And to Terry's point, oh, you bobbled the ball. Damn it. To Peraza sucking it up at third base. To Terry's point, we love multi-man matches. We love multi-women matches in AEW. They say it's where the best wrestle. It's really where the best multi-man. So anyway, you had a 4-way, and it was for an eliminator match, which you all know I fucking adore. And Mina actually pinned Tony on a quick one.
Oh, yeah.
That means Tony's winning. She's not going to beat her 2 times straight. Come on, we're all wrestling fans. You know better than that. And so the fact that they let her win an eliminator match, number one. Number two, there's no way she loses 2 straight.
Right.
Ain't happening.
So,
All right.
One more picture here. We got Mark Briscoe against Ricochet in a stretcher match.
I'm going to let y'all go.
I couldn't care less.
And this is very AEW. I'll say that.
I'll go for Mark Briscoe just because. I have no opinion about this match. This could be left off the card.
I think Ricochet wins this. I don't know that I have a real reason for that, but I expect it. I don't know the meaning of this match. I'll just say, other than that, it's there. It's filler to some degree, and that's what we got.
This is a Collision main event that 300,000 people plus the 1.8 million on Max are going to watch. And now we're going to put it on pay-per-view. And we're going to do a stretcher match between 2 people that, well, I guess in all fairness, Mark Briscoe could be someone you'd see compete in a stretcher match.
Mm-hmm.
But like stretcher matches are made for tough guys and fighters and like really serious personal issues where you hate somebody so much, you have to beat the crap out of them, tie them to a stretcher, and then go past the white line or the red line or whatever color the line is on the aisleway. What in the hell warrants a stretcher match between Mark Briscoe and Ricochet?
Nothing
in my world. The dogs are barking. That's why I'm going to mute myself. But Trevor over here has got some really nice heat as Ricochet. Yeah, Trevor, that's his government name. Mark Briscoe is a charity case kept on because his brother died, and he happens to be mildly entertaining. This match is a shit show. Ricochet wins. But I don't know why the fuck it's a stretcher match.
Yep.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there were 3 matches. Well, 2 matches, 2 definite matches that I saw listed. I didn't have a picture for. We've got Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas for the World Tag Titles. I don't know why
Who's the
that
Sons
didn't
of
have a picture.
Texas?
Oh crap! You would ask me that, wouldn't you?
Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Dustin Rhodes
okay.
and Sammy
Just-
Guevara.
Okay,
So
so
they
that's
beat Crew on Collision. Crew being Action Andretti and Leo Rush.
Leo Rush. All right, so I have a question. Who from the Hurt Business? Because
mean
now they have
Syndicate.
I-
I mean, you're getting tag teams.
oh, sorry,
confused.
Hurt Syndicate, whatever they're called now. Who's wrestling? Because is it MJF? Is it Shelton Benjamin? Is it Bobby Lashley? That's going to be fun.
I think that's a stupid storyline.
Is it different? Is it anything you thought you'd see? It's not anything I thought I'd see, so I'm good for it.
Maxwell Jacob
All right.
Friedman needs to go away and learn a new hold because he has done the exact same thing. All 5 or 6 major programs he's been in, it is so obvious. His character is so stale. It's time for him to go find something else to do.
Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
Okay. So the Hurt Syndicate then is my.
And Shelton Benjamin's the talented one of that bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
Bobby
if this was
Lashley's
not a
tough.
title match, I could see the Sons of Texas winning this. It's a title match. I don't see them holding the title.
Dustin Rhodes and Mr. Devin Dowling. That's funny, Bober, because Devin Dowling loves Sammy Guevara.
He does.
But yeah, so they came out in Collision and had that real clusterfuck of an interview with the 3 tag teams where they had Crew out there. Look, if you're Tony Khan and you have 200 wrestlers and you've got 5 hours of television programming or whatever it is he has, do you know who the first wrestlers on my cut list are? Action Andretti and Leo Rush, followed very quickly by Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin, because you're all useless to me. And then I'm going to start just chopping away at the roster, and we're going to get down to 50 to 100 people where we can tell meaningful stories in wrestling. Did anybody believe that Crew or the Sons of Texas have a chance against the Hurt Syndicate without MJF costing Lashley or Benjamin the match? There is absolutely no way Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara are going to beat Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
They're definitely not going to hold the titles. And that was my biggest thing. It's like, you might have some kind of fluke victory, but they're not going to let them hold the titles.
And that was my point about Mina Shirakawa. She beat Tony on Dynamite.
Yeah.
There's no way she's beaten her 2 straight.
Right.
All right, Terry. What was
So the other match? We got Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia against FTR.
Speaking of cut list and Mr. Charisma, can we put Daniel Garcia on that list? Ever since he stopped pumping the air, he has been really, really uninteresting.
I'm going to go with heel FTR on this one.
The dance was far more over than he was.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll go with heel FTR, but AEW, they go in waves of supporting FTR and not supporting FTR. So it wouldn't be a big shocker to me if they had them lose here because it's 4-0. So, that could happen, but I'm going to go with FTR. And there's Amy chiming in.
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
Fuck FTR. And they're horrible. They're trash.
And the only other thing, do we have
okay.
any details about an Anarchy in the Arena match?
Yes.
I could not find any.
I can help you with this.
Okay.
But you interrupted my diatribe because Amy's here, and you know how she hates when I talk shit about her boy.
Be nice.
I'm going to pick FTR to win, and then Daniel Garcia to turn on Nigel because that's a main event anywhere in the world. Nigel versus Daniel Garcia at All In. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it a shot. But and I don't really care about Nigel McGuinness. He was a great wrestler, and then he got hepatitis and he couldn't wrestle anymore. And now all of a sudden, for the company that doesn't take medical issues seriously, he can wrestle again. So somebody will have to explain that to me. FTR, great heels, but they're not great heels. They have the potential to be great heels, and they, quite frankly, should be in the tag team title match, not in this nonsense. As for Anarchy in the Arena, it is based on the fact that we decided as an organization, AEW, that we're going to go ahead and have Samoa Joe and Moxley on real live TV in a cage match where we bring back Kid out of Japan to do the interference. So now we got him, and we've got the Bucks, and we've got the Death Riders against Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Ops, I guess it would be Shibata and maybe Hook. This is what we're doing. And then we're going to put the women in there too, Willow and, which is a nice wrinkle, Marina Shafir. Here's the thing. You got 14 wrestlers, I think it is total. 14 that you're going to put in Anarchy in the Arena. Oh, because I forgot Kenny Omega, for God's sake. The fucking god of pro wrestling is in an Anarchy in the Arena match. And your biggest star, AEW homegrown star, Swerve Strickland, is in the fucking Anarchy in the Arena match. And nobody sees a problem with this.
When I asked ChatGPT last week, tell me who's in the Anarchy in the Arena match. Last week, it gave me a list of 2 teams, and Kenny Omega was on both of them. So don't fully trust ChatGPT.
All right. Well, I think.
So has that been announced? Do we know that? Is that official?
It hasn't been announced, Terry.
Okay.
It's assumed. But I mean, when you looked at the way they did the sides last week, you had the Bucks, Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler. He'll be the one that gives up or surrenders if the other team wins. Marina Shafir, and then you had Gabe Kidd out of New Japan Wrestling, who actually helped Moxley win the match against Joe. On the other side, you had Joe with Swerve and Joe with Swerve and the Ops. Yeah. And so Willow Nightingale. So that's I mean, to me, it's a waste of Kenny Omega. This is the Bucks kind of bullshit that they like. They like these no disqualification bullshit matches. But what you're going to end up with is 7 cameras shooting 7 different matches and calling it one match. And
well, they'll do the pre-tape like they usually do. They'll pre-tape around their arena, and that's fine. Is there no Okada in this?
Okada and Mike Bailey may wrestle for the international title instead, but they could both be in there too, because Bailey has been teaming and Kevin Knight have been teaming with the Ops or whatever. And I'm like, can we get more people in this match? That's why I say AEW, we're the best multi-man, because you're not going to have, it's not going to be a 5-on-5 affair.
Well, I'll vote for whatever team the Young Bucks are on because they like to win.
Yeah.
Oh, also Eddie Kingston could or could not be coming back.
So this is in Glendale. You said that what arena is this in? Do you know?
Shoot, it's a casino.
Casino, okay.
Yeah, it's the
turning, not the turning stick.
It's one of the casinos. Hold on. Let me get to WrestleTix again.
Oh, I'm sitting here on the Wikipedia page. Desert Diamond Arena.
Desert Diamond Arena, yeah. So it's all about the gambling and the, I mean, it's part of their motif, and I get that, but
it's a former NHL arena, and yeah, it looks like Phoenix Suns talk. I'm not going to go through all of that, but okay. So that's why it's about the size it is. Okay.
Well, we'll watch it and we'll have comments on it.
That's right.
I might watch it. I don't know. Trent Grisham is batting. The judge is up now. We got
$50 is a lot of money to pay for a pay.
We got 2 out. The judge is up. The judge, he's batting. Aaron Judge.
But we got more to talk about than wrestling and baseball.
Yeah, now it's time to pay attention, Andrew, because
this is the correct episode to call it the baseball, because this week we are inspired by Schitt's Creek, and we're going to talk about the top 10 Moira Rose quotes. And I thought I was going to mess up her name.
Good job.
Keep getting it right.
Moira. You did good, Terry. Moira Rose,
Moira.
The matriarch of the Rose family. Catherine O'Hara, as we talked about last week. Kevin McAllister's mom, for those of you that haven't seen the show.
That's right.
Oh, she's so good. She is so quotable.
Yes.
One of the things about Moira, just for our viewers to set this up and listeners, Terry, is she makes up her own words, which makes it even better. And she's an actress and she's won awards and all this stuff. That's her character on the show. And she's a mom. And if airline safety videos have taught me anything, it's you put your own seatbelt on first. So she's got a lot of the best lines of Moira come with the interaction of the other characters.
Right.
So she's not going to do a standalone. There's always going to be something like, I guess it's more like she's responding to something that's happening. Right. Those are her best lines.
Very
in
situational.
Yeah, very situational.
I will say up front, I've never seen a full episode of this show, but both of my other hosts here have seen every episode. But I will say that right now, I say right now, maybe it was an hour ago, a brand new episode of Bob's Burgers came on Fox for the first time in a while. So I'll be watching that later.
Not shocked at all. Yeah. So Andrew and I will provide context to the quotes that made the list.
We'll do our best. And when I do the rundown, who knows what's going to happen.
All right. So almost made the list.
Just missed the list. Oh. And there's a really long quote here, and it's a good one.
Oh, that's my and see, that was my number 4. So
when one of us shine, all of us shine. It's the way she says it too that matters. I won't wear anything with adhesive backing. So she's got this very snooty way that she says stuff a lot of times, which makes it phenomenal. Allison, your quote, ma'am, you get to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Allow me
to Terry read it about boobies.
No, I'll read it. Allow me to offer you some sound advice. Take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself now. You may currently think, oh, I'm too spooky, or nobody wants to see these tiny boobies. But believe me, one day you will look at these photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing. I love that.
It's great. Spooky is the right word too.
and she's talking to Stevie, who is David's her son's best friend, and occasional lover, but that's a whole nother story. She's a white wine, not a red wine or a rosé. Again, that's a whole nother.
And the occasional sangria.
We'll do David Rose quotes another day. But Stevie is a very tomboyish kind of girl. Demure, tiny, hence the small boobies. But yeah, so that's that one. And then the last one, Andrew already kind of gave this one away.
Airplane safety videos have taught me anything, David. It's a mother puts on her own mask first.
I've had this thought myself sitting in the airplane. It's like, you really, that speaks volumes about take care of yourself. You're no good to anybody else if you don't take care of yourself.
Well, and Moira's point here was she was retorting to David, talking about what a bad parent she was. She's selfish.
Yes, because she's selfish. Yes. All right.
Number 10.
Oh, yes.
Who wants to take
One must champion oneself and say, I am ready for this.
Yes. And she definitely has a cadence and an intonation, and Allison nailed it. One must. Nobody talks like that. Nobody says one must.
Oneself. When's the last time you said oneself?
Yeah. I could not tell you.
So I'm outnumbered 3-1 in our little group.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Number 9, and whichever one of you that you think needs to say it, go ahead.
If that's not a cause for alcohol, I don't know what is.
I'm all over this one. This was in my top 5.
This is Terry's number 1.
Yeah.
You can't see it, can you?
Yeah,
this wasn't on mine.
She is hysterical. She is hysterical with some of the timing and there might be another one on this list that's even better.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. So
she is a spokesperson for Herb Ertlinger wine. So
exactly.
Okay, is that what that is? I saw that in the quote. Yeah. I'm typing these up, not knowing what the hell she's talking about.
Yelled at. I am laughing too loud.
Number 8.
This is mine. Gossip is the devil's telephone. Best to just hang up.
I love this one. This
Yes,
was
so
high
do
on
I.
my list.
Oh, she is so good at it too. Because she's just it's just so offhanded when she's saying these things.
Yep. But she is also in the show, she is the purveyor of the most advice. Like she's always giving people advice whether they want it or not. So this is a very common theme in all of these quotes.
Yep. The only thing better is David arguing with Johnny on a tax write-off. That one was pretty good advice too.
Just write it off.
So I'm gonna write it off. Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
Number 7.
Never let the bastards get you down. Yep.
I mean, this one
And
is.
That's my headline.
Yeah,
I like
I mean,
that.
that's pretty commonplace and one we would all agree with.
Well, and one of the things Allison and I have told you
There's a
about,
lot
which
of
why
bastards out there too.
we think you would like this show, Terry, so much, is because there's no negativity in the show,
Nope.
really, to speak
None.
of. There's no elements of racism and sexism and homophobia and Judaism or anti-Semitism or any of that sort of stuff that the world actually has. None of that matters in Schitt's Creek. Like
Nope.
none of it exists. And then you drop Moira Rose into the middle of Schitt's Creek, which is hilarious. So anyway, always a good message.
Another fun thing about Moira Rose, which we didn't explain, she is the owner of multiple wigs. She loves to change her appearance every single day, and her wigs all have names. So that was another fun part. Yes. So
she always has a different hat, different wig. And when they were being evicted in the very first episode, this is not a spoiler, from the house that they owned because their accountant didn't pay taxes, she was rescuing the wigs, and they all have names as well. So it is very important to the show. Anyway.
All right,
number 6.
I'd kill for a good coma.
See, this is the one. When she sits down at the restaurant, and this is what comes out of her mouth. I'd kill for a good coma right now. So good. About like the Yankees leaving the fucking bases loaded. Thank you, Volpe. Good Lord. Still 2-2. And out comes Devin Williams for the 8th inning. So here we are.
Oh, this was Amy's number 1.
Yeah,
this was my number 6.
Amy loves to sleep. This has been well established.
Yeah.
She likes a nap. I'd kill for a good coma right now.
And I like to go to bed early, so yeah. All right.
Number 5.
Top 5 answers.
Go.
Stop acting like a disgruntled pelican, David. So it's hilarious. Yes. Disgruntled pelican. I don't exactly know what a disgruntled pelican is, but I know what David Rose is, and that is fantastic.
So again, for those of you who don't know, David Rose has the perfect resting bitch face. So
other than mine.
Well, yeah. All right, number 4.
Number 4.
Have I been let go? I won't make a scene. So this is context when she walks into a town council meeting and they have to tell her something, and she sees all 3 of them ominously looking at her. And so that's where I won't make a scene. It cracks me up every single time.
Anybody's going to make a scene, it's going to be Moira Rose.
Correct. Correct.
All right, top 3. Number 3.
Yes. Folded cheese. But what is that? How do you fold it in, David?
Then you fold it in, David.
Just fold it in.
Just fold it in.
How do I fold in the cheese?
Well, you fold it in.
Just fold it in. Yeah,
if you say fold it in one more time. One of the more iconic scenes from Schitt's Creek, David and Moira
attempting to cook one of their specialty recipes for the family.
And she's reading the directions she wrote, and they say, fold in the cheese. So she's trying to tell David, because she doesn't know what it means, to fold in the cheese.
Yes.
Well, what do you mean fold it? Well, you just fold it in. And that's when the whole the whole thing starts. So
Okay.
it's not quite the Peter Griffin and
Terry.
chicken fight from Family Guy, but it is funny. And
I
it
think
does
this
go
needs
on.
this one. I think needs the other context of the actual scene more than some of the
Yeah.
other ones do.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I am positively bedeviled with meetings, etc.
Etc. Etc. My favorite, because she just, I mean, it is.
Again, it's the use of the words. She
Yep.
puts words together that nobody else would.
No, bedeviled. Like I'm bedeviled with meetings, etc. Etc. So anyway.
This was
Number
my
one.
number 4. This is my number 2. Yep.
This is my number 1.
Go ahead.
I would be pleased to RSVP as pending. I have used this at work.
You've used this with us. What are you talking about?
So I have used this at work before, and I mean it. And I'll send the GIF where she says it.
So before you read off the thing, I'm going to read
Right.
mine that were not on this list, and it's only 2 of them. So 8 of my top 10 made the list. I'm pretty excited. My number 9 was I can't be expected to cook in my current emotional state, just because I feel that.
Allison isn't cooking. Spoiler alert.
That's not me. I'm sorry. I was momentarily distracted by my own reflection.
That's a good one too. That's a good one too.
I do like the one about the word freelance. Is freelance just one of those words you slap in front of anything because you're
unemployed or whatever it was? So good. So good.
So good. All right. You want us to run it down, Terry?
And another scene they do really well, Terry, is when she gets a monument, the Moira Rose Garden. You remember that out of the Moira Rose Garden?
Moira Rose's Rose Garden.
Yeah, because they use so many apostrophes. Yeah. It's Moira's Rose's Garden or whatever. Yeah. It's hysterical.
Moira's Rose's Garden. Yes.
Hysterical. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
You want to do it, Allison?
No, because I don't have.
Because I didn't have every one of the words. They didn't fit.
Okay. I mean, because I have some of them, but not all of them.
This is just a summary. So
one must champion oneself. If that's not a cause for alcohol, I don't know what is. Gossip is the devil's telephone. Best to just hang up. Never let the bastards get you down. I could kill for a good coma. Don't be a disgruntled pelican, David. Have I been let go? I promise I won't make a scene. That's not have I been let go.
Blame Terry for misspelling Ben there, apparently.
I'm just bedeviled with meetings, etc., etc., and I would be pleased to RSVP as pending.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
I've seen the show a dozen times.
I was not going to do it justice.
A dozen times. I now have the MLB app, so I watch baseball at night instead of Schitt's Creek.
I'm due for a rewatch, so I think I'll start mine soon.
I would say we should do it together, but you don't wait. So you were that person.
I'm
get on a Zoom and watch them all. Yeah.
Terry, you're behind. We're very mad at you, Terry.
I'm however many episodes there are, minus about a half of them.
6 or 7 seasons, yeah.
All right.
And that was the top 10 Moira Rose quotes. Did we agree we're skipping next week?
Yeah.
So multiple reasons. We got a holiday on Monday. We've got a wrestling pay-per-view on Sunday. We've got Saturday night's main event on Saturday. There's just not a good night to do it. So we're just going to skip next week and wait until the next week to do a show. Just because we're not going to stress getting it in.
That's what she said.
And that's how it is. Yeah, we're not going to shove it in there.
Just shove it in. Make it squeeze.
Just do it. Just do it because we have to.
It's a tight fit. We're obligated.
I'm not doing it just because you expect me to.
None of y'all care if we show up anyway. Get it?
Oh.
Anyway, okay. All right.
The wealth just get hit in the balls. That's not good.
That's not okay. That's not allowed. Sorry.
Okay, so we will say, and Amy is here.
Yes.
We all have discussed that she and Pondwater were on.
Yes.
And she says she cares. We tuned in last night when they were on the Double Drop Kick
Yes.
podcast as guests, and they will have a show Tuesday. Do you have a guest Tuesday, Amy, that we can report?
The author of a book, I believe.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, they are, I believe, back to doing Tuesday nights pretty regularly again. That's the Talking Wrestling with Pondwater and Amy. We love it. Lizzie Flanagan.
Lizzie Flanagan, the author of I'm Your Champion, The Life and Death of Wrestler Gino Hernandez.
Oh, that should be
Ooh.
good.
Nice. Amy, get your reading in. Hurry up.
Excellent.
I Am the Champion is.
All right, so tune in to that. I believe that is at 7 Eastern on Tuesday nights. And it's always a good show. Most of the time they have a guest of some kind. Sometimes they don't, but it's always wonderful. And Amy does trivia. If you haven't seen it, tune in for that. And if you have, keep tuning in for it. But it's been a good show. We talked about a lot of stuff in an hour and 40 minutes tonight. I'm
Devin
really
Williams
shocked
in
that it's not
11
2 hours.
pitches. Devin Williams,
Even with all this happening
11
over and over again.
11 pitches. 11 pitches. He shut down the 8th inning, and he hit his catcher in the balls. 11 pitches. Devin Williams.
Oh, man.
But anyway, like I said, we're skipping next week, so it'll be 2 weeks till we're back. Thank you, everybody that voted. As always, we don't know what we're voting on next, but we got 2 weeks to come up with it, so you will hear from us about that. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Allison and Andrew. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Bober. Bober might have left. And anybody else that has supported us as we've gone over 100 shows. Thank you so much. We're going to keep on going as long as we can, as long as we can squeeze it in our schedules. But as always, love your people. Tell them you love them. Make it weird. See you next time, everybody.